All right. This is the Charleston County Circuit Court, Charleston, South Carolina. On today's docket that we have Parks v. Bowden. So, order in the court. Okay. So, before we get started with this case, I want to read the stipulated facts of this case. These are the facts that are not in contention. These are the things that actually happened, and both sides have agreed and stipulated to these facts. Okay? Donald and Gloria Bowden hosted a cookout at their home in South Carolina, inviting mostly business acquaintances. Justin Parks, who's 19 years old, came to the party with his friend Mason, who is the son of one of Bowden's business acquaintances. Alcoholic beverages were available to all the guests, even those who, like Parks, were between the age of 18 and 21. Parks consumed alcohol at the party and left with Mason. Mason drove Parks to Mason's home to give Parks time to, quote, sober up. Parks then drove himself from Mason's home and was killed in a one-car accident. At the time of death, he had a blood alcohol content of 0.219291%, which exceeded the state's limit for driving a motor vehicle. Linda Parks, who's Justin Parks' mother, filed a suit in South Carolina State Court against the Bowdens, alleging they were negligent. Those are the agreed upon facts of the case. This notes page is for you to take notes during the trial to understand and apply the law. Those are the agreed upon facts of the case. I want to have each side give an opening statement. We'll start with the plaintiff team. You don't have to stand up if you don't want to, but you can. Go ahead. All right.
If it pleases the court and members of the jury, thank you. Thank you for being here today. We are team two consisting of myself, Chris Corsaro, Ben Porter, Aislinn Cannon, and Brandon Benninger. We are here representing our client, Mrs. Linda Parks, mother of deceased Justin Parks. Our client's son had died while driving under the influence with alcohol provided by the Bowdens. Justin Parks was invited to a cookout consisting of business acquaintances by friends fixed to Justin. Upon arriving, Mason 20 and Justin 19 realized the bar was available to everyone, even those between the ages of 18 and 21. Because of this, Justin got drunk, went home with Mason, and sometime during the night, Justin got up, grabbed his keys, went and drove off. Hours later, the news was broken to Mason that Justin had died on impact from hitting a tree with his car. Due to the negligence of the Bowdens, Justin would not have died if he had not gotten drunk off the open bar, and the morning of Linda Parks would have been avoided. The Bowdens should pay for negligent behavior. Thank you.
Excellent. Well done. The plaintiffs like to give their opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we are the law firm of Ellis, Phillips, Smith, and Yancey. This is a case of a tragedy. A young man named Justin Parks died in a car accident after drinking adult beverages. We'd like to start off by stating that our law firm sympathizes deeply with Justin's family for their loss. But the question before everyone today is not whether this was a tragedy. It was whether if the Bowden family, the homeowners who hosted the cookout, were negligent and responsible for Justin's death, and his decision to get behind the wheel and drive after consuming alcoholic beverages. The evidence that we bring upon you today would show that the Bowden family was not negligent for this tragedy.
Very, very well done. Very well done. We're off to a great start. Okay, so normally in courts of law, the role of the jury is to decide the factual issues in front of it. Okay, what facts are really true? What witnesses are really credible? What evidence weighs more than other evidence? In this case, and then normally the laws that are applied or the rules that are applied to the facts are provided by the judge. The judge says, here's the law that you need to apply, and you're going to apply it. In this case, this area of law is not developed in South Carolina. So we don't actually know which rules apply. Some rules do apply. Some standard of care applies, but we're not completely sure which one. So we have this preliminary question of the duty of care. And each side is going to make a case for why they think their specific duty of care should apply. Okay, so this is our preliminary question. What is the duty of care? And this is the current state of law in South Carolina. Okay, I just made a little chart for you guys to take a look at. I'll provide it for you later. But basically, and the reason why this is such an area of dispute is because we are at an intersection of both being a minor and being negligent, in which South Carolina has no laws and has no cases. So you need to argue for the standard that should be applied to the Bowdens in their role as homeowners. Okay, so we're going to start with the plaintiff. These are the different choices. There's like four general standards of care that could apply to this case, but really it's between the first two. But I want you guys to argue which one would you like the court to apply, and how is that going? And yeah, just which one and why should that particular standard be applied? Go ahead, plaintiff team.
I think it's the duty of the landowners.
The duty of the landowners. So, okay, you can argue that. Okay, so so you think it should be the duty of the landowners?
Yeah.
Okay, because so go ahead and make your case. What is the duty of care, and why is that the duty of care that should be applied?
Yes, they were all on their land, and once they get on their land and they invited them to their land, it's their duty to keep them safe on their land.
Okay.
Especially if they're the ones giving the alcohol.
Okay. And then, so let's walk through the other ones just to make sure that we address them completely. So social host liability, should the Bowdens be responsible for the social host liability? Even though there are no laws in South Carolina that are about social host liability, this is not about the criminal law. This is about the civil law. Should the Bowdens be held to that standard of care under the civil law?
I mean, I don't think so because he wasn't really an invitee. I mean,
Okay, so he's not a business invitee.
Yeah.
So that's not what we're talking about. The social host liabilities have to do with the age of the person that's okay. So like, do you guys want to make a case that they should be social host liability?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
While he was in the state of South Carolina, it's said that they're minors when it comes to drinking alcohol. They can be tried as minors.
So because of their status as minors, you think that the standard of care that should be applied is the standard that's applied to minors in other states? Because it's not being applied to minors criminally in South Carolina, but you're looking to the key status of their what was the age of this person and what were they legally responsible for? Okay, are there cases or are there other parts of law that point to the fact that this should be the standard that should be applied? Okay. All right. Well, okay. So you've made your arguments. Let's flip it over to the defense side. What standard of care does the defense team think should be applied in this particular case? Okay. All right. And what is your perspective on that? Why is it that that's the choice that we should make? So in the case of being a landowner, we actually have cases about this very type of situation where somebody has gone and gotten drunk at a party and then left in that case, the homeowner was not found liable because the person was an adult. But this person's a minor. So why should we apply the rules of adults to minors? Why is that the most applicable in this particular case?
He's 19, so he's not technically a minor, but he's also not like.
So he's in between space. Because he's a minor for some things, right? He's a minor in respect to alcohol, but he's not a minor in respect to voting. I guess he's a minor in respect to cigarettes now, but he can get a tattoo, right? So he's not completely a minor, but he's partially a minor. Okay. All right. Did you want to argue against any of the other types of liabilities?
I said like the other ones would not hold the burdens to a private homeowners to the same duties and standards. They would hold them to the same duty standards as restaurants, bars, and stores.
And why are those different? Why should we not look at the business invitees rule? I mean, there were some business people there. What about alcohol retailers, like places that are actually selling alcohol directly? Why should those standards of care not apply in this situation?
Because they didn't sell just now.
Okay.
They never like directly handed them alcohol.
Okay. All right. So now you guys have made your arguments on the standard of care. You as a jury member need to decide which standard of care should apply in this particular case. And based on which standard you apply, it's going to create a different duty and responsibility of what the Bowdens should or should not have done. So the core claim here, though, is negligence. And in the case of negligence, remember, these are the major elements of what the plaintiff team has to prove, and they have to prove each one of these elements. Okay, they have to show that there was a duty that was owed to the defendant, or a duty that was owed by the defendant to the plaintiff. Okay, they have to show that that duty was breached, and that breaching caused the harm, and the causation is going to be that two-part test, and that causing of the harm was a direct result of the breach of duty. So, with that being said, let's have the plaintiff give their core case, walking their way through the elements, making sure that you address every single one.
Alright, so, party hosts have a duty to keep all guests of the party safe, especially the minors they are letting drink illegally. The breach of duty is they had no way of preventing the minors at the party from going to the bar and getting
Oh.
as much.
You know what? We jumped ahead too far ahead. We need to have the expert witness. Sorry, we have a witness? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no. I've seen a paper. You didn't get papers.
You didn't get papers? Oh, is there extras over here? Right. The jury's in distress. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I missed the expert. We have one testimony from one person. His name is Mason Justice. Mason Justice, you want to come up? And one of you will, so I'll swear him in, and then you can proceed with your questioning.
Sit right here.
Yep, sit right there. Raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do it on the Bible anymore. So, would you say I do? All right. So one of the plaintiff teams can take over. Can you start and go ahead with your questions?
What is your full name for the record?
Mason Justice.
Did you know Justin Parks, the deceased?
I was a good friend of Justin before he died. We went to school together and we were friends since the second grade.
How old are you?
20.
Did you attend the party the night of the 22nd of September at his house?
Yes.
How did you get to the party?
I drove my car. Justin came with me.
How do you know the Bowdens?
Well, my dad used to work with Mr. Bowden at his company. I met them before at one of my high school lacrosse games, but I'd never been to their house. The party was a lot of people, more from Mr. Bowden's business, but it seemed like there were other people there too, like other lacrosse parents. The Gamecocks had a bye week, so I went to the party.
Were you invited to the party?
Well, my parents were. The invitation was for our family, I guess. My parents told me about it. That was because I know the Bowden's son, Brandon. He was behind me in school by a year. We played lacrosse together.
Did they know you were at the party?
Yes, they saw me when I came in.
Would the Bowdens recognize you if they saw you?
Yes, because of their son, Brandon, and playing lacrosse and stuff.
Would they know how old you are?
Probably. Brandon is only 1 year behind me, and he just turned 19.
While you were at the party, did the Bowdens serve you alcohol?
I wouldn't say it in that way. We got it from Brandon mostly. I did go up to the bar and get a beer once, but no one served it to me or said anything to me. I just grabbed it from the bar.
Did the Bowden see you drinking alcohol?
We were in the basement playing Xbox or watching football. They were all outside. I guess I'm not sure. Brandon says they are cool with him drinking at home as long as he stays there. They were pretty busy with the rest of the party, and I didn't see them at all downstairs.
Were there other young adults between the ages of 18 and 21?
Yeah, a couple of other guys from the lacrosse team, same class as Brandon, but they were off trying to hit on Brandon's sister or something. They really pissed Brandon off.
Were they there with their parents?
I saw the parents of one of the guys
Where was the alcohol at the party?
at a bar by the pool.
Was anyone in charge of that bar?
Not that I saw. They did have some caterers there serving food in their three-season room, but the bar was kind of off to the side and open. When I got my beer, no one was there.
Was Justin drinking at the party?
He was in the basement drinking a lot. He was losing at Xbox and depressed his team was losing in the football game, so he's kind of pounding Jägermeister.
Did he get drunk at the party?
Yeah, he was pretty drunk. The stuff is way more powerful than you think. He was drinking it like Gatorade.
Were you drinking?
I had a couple of beers earlier in the evening, but then capped off by 9 or 9:30. I had to drive, you know.
When did you leave the party?
About 11 p.m. The party had pretty much broken up by then.
The Bowden see you go?
I saw Mr. Bowden when I got in my car. He was out saying goodbye to some people. I yelled goodbye and thank you.
Did the Bowden see Justin drunk?
Maybe. Brandon and I had to walk Justin out to the car because he couldn't walk straight. I was worried he was going to puke in my car, and then my car would smell like puke and Jaeger. Plus, Brandon was laughing at Justin whenever he would stumble, so it was hard to miss.
The Bowden say anything to you when you left?
No, Mr. Bowden sort of half waved bye to me, but he was busy talking to other people. That was it.
Did anyone else see Justin drink at the party?
Brandon did for sure. Justin was kind of obnoxious, and when he went upstairs to piss a few times, he told me he ran into Mr. James, one of the parents that works with Mr. Bowden, and spilled Mr. James' drink all over his shirt. So probably a few people saw him and clearly had been drinking.
Did Justin ever get served alcohol by the Bowdens?
Not that I saw. Like I said, there weren't people serving people. It was kind of all self-service. I'm not sure if Justin got the bottle of Jaeger from the bar or Brandon got it for him.
Did they know where you were taking Justin?
Well, no. Brandon joked with me about Justin puking in my car when he helped put Justin in the passenger seat, but I didn't tell him where I was going.
Where did you go when you left the party?
I drove back to my house. Justin's car was there from when he came over to watch football before the party.
What did you do with Justin when you got home?
Well, he was still out of it, so I dragged him inside and got him to lay down on the couch in the basement. He kind of passed out, so I left him there to sleep it off. That's why I didn't get his keys. He was out, and I didn't think he could wake up until noon on Sunday.
What happened next?
Well, I woke up at like 6 a.m. because I had to take a piss, and when I came out, Justin was gone. I didn't know what happened to him until Sunday night when his mom called me crying and told me Justin was in an accident at 2 in the morning, wrapped his car around a tree about a mile from my house.
Is it possible that Justin had some alcohol in your house?
No, my mom used to be an alcoholic, so we don't have any alcohol in the house.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Well done.
Good.
Thank you. All right, so now we get to the legal case, and I'll give you guys a copy of the testimony here. And it's actually, I'll just pass it around. The jury will sometimes ask for copies and transcripts of testimony when they go into deliberations. So this is for you guys to have, also use while you're. So, all right. So let's go into this. Let's go back to where we were before. And have each side give their statement of the case and statement of rebuttals for the core case itself. In addition to negligence being these four elements, we also need to address three different Defenses to negligence, which are assumption of risk, superseding cause, and contributory negligence. So, which is for damages. So with that all being said, let's go back to the negligence plaintiff team. Prove your case.
Alright, so the duty of care, the party hosts have a duty to keep all the guests of the party safe, especially the minors there letting drink illegally. The breach of duty was they had no way of preventing the minors at the party from going to the open bar and getting as much alcohol as they wanted. Causation was Bowden's left the bar open, leading to minors being able to get alcohol, which led to them drinking too much, which gave Justin the opportunity to drive drunk, leading to his death. It's definitely foreseeable because they're letting minors drink alcohol, and it's always going to end up bad. The harm was Justin tried to drive home drunk after the party, after arriving at Mason's house, and died while driving under the influence. Justin did not know the risk because he didn't even know there was going to be alcohol, and he was just going to hang out with his friend. Superseding cause. There was no event that broke the causal connection between the wrongful act and the death.
Well, that's what's contributory negligence, which is for damages. So if you got to the damages, or said if your client wins, what do you feel like their personal actions contributed to? How much of it as a percentage do you think it contributed?
I'd say like 75% because they paid for the alcohol, and it was open bar for anybody to come.
So the Bowden's provision of alcohol was 75% of the reason why this occurred, right? If there was no alcohol,
Yeah.
if there was no alcohol at the party,
Or if it was just
Justin would be alive today, right?
Yeah.
Is there any doubt? Any doubt in anybody's mind? Okay. So, all right. So you've made your case. Now let's go to the defense. You can address in your defense the core arguments that were made under the negligence, and then argue through the defenses if you'd like to. So go ahead, fire away.
This are, statement of rebuttal.
Yeah, this is your statement of rebuttal, yes.
We believe that the plaintiff is trying to apply business level liability standards to a case dealing with private homeowner and attempting to apply laws that are not recognized in South Carolina. First, there are no dram shops, both of our close liability statute in South Carolina that would apply to private home. The Bowdens are not owners of a bar, restaurant, or store. They never served or sold alcohol to Justin. There is no evidence that the Bowdens handed Justin alcohol or even knew he was drinking. Second, Justin's accident happened off the Bowdens property, and hours after he had left. Justin was safely escorted off the Bowdens property and drove to Mason's house. Mason was sober and driving. After Justin left, he had made the choice by himself to get in the car and drive, resulting in the accident. That decision that Justin made, and then the accident was that's the cause, which cut any potential legal responsibility Bowdens may have had. Third, we raised the defense of responsibility for negligence. Since Justin was 19, a legal adult, he is responsible for his own decisions, not the Bowdens. Justin knew the risks involved with drinking, and he chose to drive on his own. His own choices and actions were the cause of his death. Lastly, the appropriate duty in this case is the landowner's general duty of care, not the other duties that are only applicable to business and bar. Landowner's general duty of care requires homeowners to maintain a safe place on their property. There is no claim or evidence that Justin was ever injured on the Bowdens property. After Justin left, the law does not extend their duty beyond their property, or to any foreseeable decisions made after leave. Yes, leave. Although the death of Justin is heartbreaking, this is not a case of negligence against the Bowdens.
Okay, very, very well done. Okay, so let me press a little bit on both sides. So we've done your statement of rebuttals. Before you do your closing statements, let me press in a little bit on each side. So we'll start with the plaintiff team. So your argument here is that the alcohol in his system was the cause of all of the harm, right? And the alcohol and the alcohol only came from one place, and that was from the Bowdens, and that he was a minor. So therefore he should be responsible for his death. Why is it that we should have a distinction in how we treat Justin if he's 19 years old versus if he's 25 years old? Why should there be a difference in how we look at this case versus an adult?
Because he's still not able to legally drink. And he still doesn't have all of the, all of the rights that like a 25-year-old has. Like, there's still a lot of things that he can't do.
Okay.
So I feel like he falls more in like the minor, area.
So you're saying at least in respect to alcohol, the state of South Carolina recognizes a different status for him as a 19-year-old than they do as a 23-year-old, right? So some of the cases that we have on point that back you up would be, what would happen to a person, either criminally or civilly, if you served them alcohol, if you served a 19 or 20-year-old at a game or at a hotel, would you be liable in those situations if you deliberately serve them, according to the case laws in South Carolina, right? So that's a difference. That's a distinction, right? Because if you're 22, there's no liability for that. But if you're 20, there is liability potentially, or 19. And he was 19 in this case, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So why is it that like Mason Justice's actions shouldn't be a reason that the Bowdens are let off the hook?
Looking at first drunk Brandon, took him to his place and put him to sleep, and he also went to sleep and just forgot to get his keys.
So you're trusting a 20-year-old, or you're not even trusting, you don't even know what's happening, I guess. So, but a 20-year-old is now responsible for the life and death, potentially, of a 19-year-old. So you have two minors, at least according to the alcohol laws, right? So the actions, so in your perspective, the actions of Mason, not Justin, Justin's dead, of Mason don't have any bearing on the responsibility of the Bowdens to not allow minors to receive alcohol at their parties.
I think if the Bowdens saw, which they had to have saw him, he waved at him goodbye. They were outside, the bar was outside, and Justin spilled beer on one of the business acquaintances. So there's no way the Bowdens could know Justin was drinking. And I think if they're hosting the party and they know there's underage people that drunk, they should just let them stay there at their house and not give them the opportunity to go home.
So your answer to, and this is a good question. So like, one of the things you have to do with your standard of care is saying, what should the Bowdens have done that they didn't do? And you just answered some of that. So like they should have, so their answers, if once they know that there's a drunken athlete, what should they do with them?
Leave them at their house until they sober up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
Mason and Justin.
So first, don't give him alcohol. But once you find him with alcohol, you have a new duty of care, you have a new duty of responsibility at that point in time, right? You can't just kick it like, oh well, he's already drunk, so let's let it go. So now you're saying, so at every point in time along this continuum, you have a different responsibility based on what you know and and what applies in this case, right? Okay, that's a good argument. All right. Let's flip it over to the defense side. So why shouldn't the Bowdens be held responsible for this death?
I think that they shouldn't be because, Justin is 19 years old and at that age, they're able to make adult decisions. Pretty much the only thing that you can't do is gamble, drink and smoke and, he could go get a house, he could go live on his own and he's old enough to like know the consequences of his own decisions and actions.
Did you want to rebut something on that?
Yeah, so he's old enough to do all those things, but he can't drink yet, so he doesn't know how to act when he is drinking. So he's
Yeah, but-
still, he's not like
Go ahead, go ahead.
legally allowed to drink.
So
And,
what,
when Mason was speaking, we were talking about how Justin was drinking the Jägermeister, like it was Gatorade. That is heavy stuff. I looked it up. That's 35 OBD.
If that,
That's not a normal. That's not a normal.
that person doesn't know any better.
That-
Not older, so.
I'm beginning, drink, not drink.
okay, we're ordering for.
But he got the fuck. He had like 5 years.
So what, I mean, but he's not technically an adult for some purposes, but like, where would Justin have gotten the knowledge and understanding of how alcohol affects his behavior? He wouldn't have, so your perspective is that he wouldn't have it. So because of his minor status, that's why we have minor status, because they don't necessarily understand the effects of the decisions that they're making, right? Okay. But your argument is that we should be looking at it more like an adult. And he was drinking 70 proof, right? Alcohol, which is very potent. Why does that make a difference?
Because it sounded like a drinker would be chugging out a Jägermeister bottle.
So you're saying that like that his behavior and actually drinking the way that he was drinking says that he's probably drank before, right? I mean, he's not alive. We can't cross-examine him about his history of drinking. Okay. So yeah, but I mean, what else would show that he, from the facts that we have, would show that he has some knowledge and understanding of alcohol?
He's on the lacrosse team. He's in high school. I mean, high school parties maybe.
So
He's 19 years old. There are plenty of 19-year-olds in this country that he's in college or is old enough to attend college. I don't know if he actually ever attended or not,
right.
but
So he's of an age where he would have been exposed to alcohol in various settings, and he knew that he was drinking, right? Like he knew that he didn't think that was actually Gatorade. He thought, I'll just drink this because it'll make me not feel upset about whatever situation I have. Okay.
and also he wasn't scared to get in his car and drive home.
So his behavior at 2 a.m. indicates that he had some, well, I don't know. He had some maybe he'd driven drunk before. I don't know. We don't know that. That's actually speculation. Strike that.
I don't think very good for him to drive home. He wasn't in danger if he was at a friend's house. I
Okay.
don't think he would be driving home if he didn't feel like this.
Okay. And then lastly, is there anything you'd like to say about what is the defense's perspective on the role of Mason Justice in this whole thing? Like what does his presence mean for your defense?
He was the sober one that took, well, sober at the time, he did say he drank, but he took Justin home, but then after they left Bo's property, Justin was in Mason's care. So after they left, what happened to Justin was out of Bo's hands and in his.
Okay, so he was under Mason's care.
Yeah.
And not the Bowden's care anymore. Okay. All right. Finally, let's I think you guys have done a good job with that. I do like the back and forth, although we do have to maintain order at the court. Last but not least, please give your closing statements. Why should the jury side with you? We'll start with the plaintiff.
So based on the facts of the case, we believe that because of the breach of duty and the duty of care, the adult should take responsibility for the action of the other death, because if alcohol wasn't there in the first place, he would still been alive today.
All right. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
To the defense, please give your closing statement. Why should the jury side with the homeowners?
case involves a devastating accident that resulted in great loss. In the end, it comes down to legal responsibility, and in this case, the Bowdens are not legally responsible for the tragic death of Justin Parks. The Bowdens did not serve Justin any out. Justin was a legal adult, and decided to drink and then drive a few hours later after leaving the register. What happened off the Bowden property is out of their control. Therefore, they should not be held accountable for the death of Justin Parks.
Very well done. Very well done. And you guys did a great job. So for a first trial, that was really, really well done. Okay. So now I'm going to give jury instructions. And so I'm going to split you into 3 juries. So when you're on a jury, you have to answer not just the question of who you think wins and loses. You do answer that question, but also all of the questions that relate to all of the specific aspects of this case. What was the duty of care that applies in this case? How was it applied? Was there a duty? Was it breached? Did that breach cause the harm? And then addressing the 3 different defenses. Did Justin assume the risk? Did Justin, was there a superseding cause that would let the Bowdens off the hook? Or is there any contributory negligence if we're talking about damages? Who's mostly responsible for this particular death? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna number you off 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna split you guys up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Wow. So you guys are how many people we have here? Oh, so that's 24. So I mean, there's 8 of you. Okay, so this is a civil case. We don't have to have unanimity in a civil case, right? It doesn't have to be all on one side. But with 8 people on the jury, you're going to need it. You're going to have at least a 5 to 3. Actually, 6. Let's do 6 and 2. You have to have at least 6 people that agree for you to decide as a jury. Okay. All right. I'll give you this. You'll be responsible. You'll be the person that takes the notes so this is all the questions that you need to ask and answer. I'm going to have team 1 the first jury go to the conference room there, the one in the middle there. Second jury, come over here and just pull up chairs kind of around behind there. Third jury over there. And when you're done, come back, give me the sheets, and then we'll review the result. Bring out the way it was one. Oh, right. Let's. But you guys. Oh, really? Like, oh.
So they call me there.
Doors like the day school. It's an interesting one. Which side over which direction we go. Yeah, actually. In general, which roll.
You would go to
the wall.
Or
That's not.
Stone blind, exploration,
Voters after. Well, they kind of like their business. But they may be their stuff there.
And he said, they said bye, so.
That's work with the parents, but it's like, what's that, what's the?
Okay. Or do you want a sister?
And so they can just say that, they didn't know, they would have seen it, like, starting to get it fine.
I forgot we had to do that.
But,